My wife denied unemployment because her employer says she quit. She didn't quit, he fired her. First of all, we're in Georgia. My wife left her workplace a couple of weeks ago, after a work-related dispute over a task between her boss and her. She has been with this employer for several years. She filed for unemployment immediately. Her boss, however, claimed she quit, and we got a letter saying she was considered unqualified for unemployment from the GODL. We're now considering appealing. My question is there a point to appealing? Are such cases generally decided in favor of the employee or the employee by DOL? More details. My wife had asked for a raise this year after 3 years of no raises, and it had triggered bad feelings. Boss became hypercritical of everything she did. A coworker noted they didn't know how she was still there since the boss had been so critical for the last year. My wife was 40 minutes late but had warned co-workers that she had a doctor's appointment, so no one was worried. She clocked in and was immediately criticized for sloppy paper management, something he was notorious for himself and for which there had never been any kind of plan in the first place. She decided to go outside and calm down. The boss told her to pick up her check on Friday. She said, "I'm outta here, boo-boo," and clocked out and went outside to cool off. Boss followed her out and asked for her door keys. This is a small family-owned business and the couple that runs it have never paid unemployment insurance even though there have been several firings. We're pretty sure that's why they're saying my wife quit. It's a very he said she said thing, though. Hoping I can get some info on how to proceed with an appeal that will succeed. Do you have any evidence to your claim? There's an entire handbook for appeals on the GODL website. I'd recommend reading over that to start an yes, appeal, and be very thorough in explaining the exit situation, especially disputing cause. This worked for me. I had to appeal 2 times before my unemployment was approved. It went to state court. Yes, there is a point. Appeal. It is very common for employers to try and block a valid claim. You cannot sit back and let them win. If your case is real, you have a good chance of winning. Several of my clients have had successful appeals of unemployment denials. I'm not in Georgia, but I'm in an at least equally backwards capitalist bootlicking state. Most workplaces will dispute your claim because it's in their best interest to do so. Always appeal. That "I'm outta here" remark might be taken as a resignation grimace. You can appeal and you should, but if she said "I'm outta here, boo-boo," that can potentially hurt her. I have worked in businesses for most of my life and a simple "I don't want to do this anymore" can be considered grounds for quitting, and even appeals didn't work for it. Holy shit. Did your wife work for the same company and did because the experience was identical? Appeal unemployment. Inform the representative that she was fired. Verbally instructions to pick up your check Friday from an employer is generally accepted as termination. Employer will counter saying she quit. Ask employer to provide written proof of her resignation. They won't be able to. If the employer stands by their statement that she wasn't fired, then state she'll be there Monday since she never resigned. Employer will, of course, not permit this, and unemployment will catch them in their lie. Good luck. Upon further inquiries, my wife has told me that about 2 hours after the incident, she texted the firm's co-owner and stated that she did not quit that morning. The co-owner responded that she would relay that information to the boss. There was no further response from her. Also, she has eyewitnesses to the event who have told her that they thought she'd be back the next day. But my wife is pretty sure that if they say anything like that, they'll be fired, too. She showed me the texts on her phone. Based on what you guys have been saying, I think we have them cold. You should appeal to establish a paper trail if nothing else. If this situation only happens once or twice, maybe the employer will get away with it. But if it becomes a documented pattern of behavior, they are eventually going to get caught. Always appeal and keep certifying every week. If that's how it's done in GA, most of the time they will listen to your side. Your story sounds like a roundabout way of saying she quit. Dull employee here. Definitely appeal. In my state, you can even appeal failed appeals if you can present a compelling enough argument. It sounds like she did quit. You said my wife left her workplace and I'm outta here. Sounds like she's the one who left. Person shrugging light skin tone male sign. Person shrugging light skin tone male sign. She said I'm outta here. He said okay, bye. She could appeal, but clocking out to let off some steam might be considered job abandonment. She said, I'm outta here, boo-boo. What exactly did she expect after saying this? I know in the Northeast, the employee always wins these types of things. In the South, good luck, but do appeal. Always appeal. The employer is counting on your wife not appealing. They're trying to avoid spending money. But if you appeal it, it will cost them money to fight it, legal fees, etc. Make it more expensive for them to fight you than to just give in. I appealed mine in Georgia and won. I was very thorough with all the facts, and when I spoke to the appeals person, she was surprised I was so thorough. She said most people don't have their information and can't answer questions clearly, and that can cause them to lose the appeal they know companies don't want to pay. Always appeal, especially for bigger companies. They assume you won't, and make sure you show up if there is a court appointment. In some cases the company won't show and it may go in your favor. If any pressure was applied, job responsibilities changed. Ad made difficult may fall within constructive dismissal, which does count for unemployment. I've helped 3 people win unemployment appeals. You absolutely can win. Make sure you understand the process. Get your documentation together, and if they're accusing your wife of something, make them show proof. I had a friend get denied unemployment because she was accused of being frequently late. We asked them to show timecards that showed her always being late. Oops. They had no proof and she got her unemployment. Good luck. I also live in Georgia. Was denied the last 3 times I lost my job. With appeals, the system is not designed to help people, especially in the shit-stained state that is Georgia. This is simple, and the GDOL is being stupid as usual. I'm also in Georgia. They don't have a resignation letter from her. Sounds like she wasn't given the proper Georgia termination form either. Ask the doll where the documentation is. Enough of this talk. You always appeal, because it's now in the employer's court to prove that she left of her own accord instead of just saying nah fam. Appeal most of the time the company doesn't show up. Fight it. Don't know your situation, but years ago I had a similar thing and appealed. Turns out they agreed that get your shish tea and get out was being fired. Luckily, in my case, I had witnesses to the scene. The way you describe it, it sounds like she quit. Absolutely do appeal. So many claims are denied at first, but on appeal the employer has to provide actual proof of their side and the things they are claiming, which is much more difficult than just stating that an employee quit. How do you know the employer has never paid into unemployment insurance? If you have proof of that, or even good circumstantial evidence, my guess is that the unemployment agency would be very interested in looking into it. Retired HR here. Your wife should definitely appeal. Many times the representative from the employer's business will not show up in front of the labor judge, so the fired employee wins by default.